You've taken control of this transmission. There is nothing you can do.
This is Radio Takeover. With hosts Karen Wooden and Chuck Fresh.
We ask that you remain calm and stay dialed in to AM 1510 WMEL, FM 94.7, 99.9, and 100.7.
Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Karen Wooden along with...
Chocolatey Chucky Fresh.
Count Chocula. Only on Radio Takeover.
We're on every Wednesday from 1 to 2. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
And remember, we got all kinds of social media, Facebook, YouTube, Spreaker, iHeartRadio. Lord, I don't even remember them all. We're everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Omnipresent.
We are Brevard County's only award-winning talk show. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going with it.
I think it sounds good, so I'm going to go with it. You guys agree?
Tell me if I'm not, right?
Okay.
Absolutely.
Good.
A lot to cover today.
Yeah.
You want me to start out on this?
Yeah, let's start with the announcements.
All right, a lot of really good things happening in Brevard County. The shelves of the Brevard Humane Society are bare. So we need some good people to help the Humane Society. I'm talking about homeless pets here. Mm-hmm. There's not enough wet cat and dog food to feed the more than 200 animals at the shelter. So the Humane Society sent a truckload of supplies back a while ago to South Florida to help fellow rescue groups dealing with the devastation of the storms. But now our own shelter is probably about a week away from running out of food for our own cats and dogs here.
That's not good.
So the Brevard Humane Society's Teresa Clifton is hoping they can get some more donations to feed the hungry animals being fostered right here in Brevard County. So they do some great things. I didn't know about this, but they have a Meals on Wheels pet program for homeless pets.
Really?
I didn't know that, so I don't know how that works. We should actually get Teresa on the show to explain that. I just imagine somebody driving around and finding, feral cats and feeding them, which is really, really cool. They got to eat too. But anyway, you can help. To donate food or funds to help these poor souls out, please visit brevardhumanesociety.org or just swing by their offices right here in Cocoa at 1020 Cox Road. I'm sure they could take anything you can give them. Also, I wanted to mention Masquerade, Martinis, and Masterpieces, the legendary fundraiser right here in Brevard County by Salo Alcaranfil. Alcaranfil.
I got it.
Where's the bell? Joanna Godwin and Grace Hahn. That's right, the bell's in the future. It will benefit the Candlelighters of Brevard, a terrific organization that helps families of children with cancer. Yeah. That fundraiser happens on Friday, November 3rd, 2017 at the Red Ginger Restaurant at the Melbourne Square Mall in Melbourne from 6 to midnight. It is a black tie, red carpet affair featuring delicious food, fine art, dance performances, musical entertainment, and there may be a fashion show.
There's a fashion show.
There's a fashion show there, too. And Radio Takeover, of course, is the official media host that joined Karen and I out there. And also award-winning journalist and Channel 13 news anchor, Mr. Greg Pallone, will be this year's gala auctioneer. So more scoop and tickets. Tickets are going fast. There's not many left. Last time I talked to Joanna at www.celobrate.com. That's SELOBRATE.com. The links and everything are on Radio Takeover's website, too. That's radiotakeover.rocks. And also our Facebook page. And, wow, we do a lot of good for the community, don't we, Karen? And right here on our award-winning radio program. It's amazing. So we're definitely on the good bus to heaven.
I think so.
Probably a short bus.
Short bus.
The annual Rosa Marina Boutique Fashion Show happens at Rockledge Gardens on Friday, December 15th. A lot going on in the next couple of weeks to benefit the Second Harvest Food Bank. And they actually feed people, where the Brevard Humane Society feeds puppies and kittens, and the Second Harvest Food Bank feeds us. Tickets are just $15 a person, which is an amazing price. And I understand all those proceeds go to the Second Harvest Food Bank, too.
That's great.
Tickets are available at rosamarinaBoutique.com, again on our Facebook page and website. Radio Takeover will be a sponsor on this event, and we'll be there. Local celebrities Sheena Heitzman and Hollywood movie star Aurelia Rose will be right here on Radio Takeover coming up on December 6th to chat about that. So mark your calendars and listen to that show and get those tickets for the Rosa Marina Boutique Fashion Show and fundraiser on December 15th. That's a Friday night. Get those tickets now.
I can't wait. That's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
What's going on here today?
Okay, well, right? I'm feeling that. It's hard to believe that Halloween or All Hallows Eve is next week. And if you remember on our last show, we talked about some fun Halloween facts and trivia. But today, we're going to talk about a different aspect of the holiday.
Oh.
So with that in mind, let me ask you, Chuck, and our audience out there, do you believe in the supernatural? Have you ever had any unexplained experiences?
I am extremely skeptical, Karen.
Are you?
However, I have seen and experienced many things in my short life.
Have you seen the light?
Made me wonder. I haven't walked towards the light yet.
That's good.
I probably would, though. I want to see what's in the light. I don't know if I'm coming back. But I have seen and felt and experienced a few things, especially recently, that are kind of pushing me over that skeptical edge now to become more of a believer.
Awesome. Well, that is going to be the theme of today's show.
Ah.
Radio Takeover, in conjunction with the WDN Podcast Network, has created kind of a paranormal channel. We've been working on filming our pilot, as you know, which has been really exciting. Turn my pages here. We're getting in our final phases, so we thought it'd only be fitting to talk about that this season, because of the season. And we've got some of our crew here to talk about it with us. And I just want to mention really quick that this channel is also going to be including folklore and factual experiences as well. We're going to make an announcement right here on RTO and on our website, www.radiotakeover.rocks, when we have a release date. It should be coming up really soon. We're still working on a title for that.
Yeah.
But before I introduce you to our guests, we have some spirits in the studio with us right now. So, Chuck, we do the honors and introduce one of RTO's favorite spirits.
Darkness falls upon the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Wait, where was
You're
I?
so good at
Oh,
that.
the spirits. You mean the lubrication. I'm sorry. I didn't know what you were talking about. Today's spirit is Wild Goose. It is a Sonoma County Cabernet Sauvignon from 2015. And thank you, Karen, and thank you to our sponsors for bringing that in. And where is this from? Where can you buy this?
Actually, that was a gift given to us by the Rosa Marina Boutique, Miss Sheena Heisman, and
Aurelia.
Rose.
Yes.
Rose.
It's very good.
So,
very,
so
very
kind
good
of them.
cab.
So thank you so much for bringing us a gift.
Lubricating us.
We never get gifts.
We love
That's
to be
really
lubricated.
cool. They also gave me a really gorgeous bracelet.
The Wonder Woman bracelet.
The Wonder Woman bracelet.
That's nice.
Yes. So
I'm
very
still
exciting.
waiting on mine. We'll get back.
It's in the works.
You get their men's line together.
I don't have a Wonder Woman bracelet.
You might need
needs
one
one.
in your industry.
Yeah, you probably do. You need like a whole suit of armor.
Right?
Goodness.
So let's introduce our human guest. In the spirit of Halloween and all things unexplained, joining us today is paranormal investigator Steve Kurtzky.
Yes. Steve Kurtzky.
Hello.
The hero to me.
Steve has been investigating the paranormal for a little over 9 years now. He's investigated much of Titusville, Melbourne, Cocoa, Port St. John, and parts of northern Florida. His investigations have included residential, local businesses, hotels, and restaurants. Steve also hosts dinner and a ghost at Ashley's restaurant right here in Cocoa. And you can go in there and sit down with Steve. He'll show you evidence that he's captured over the years, and of course, evidence that he's captured right there at Ashley's. And Steve also brings in his equipment, and you can learn about all of that equipment. It's pretty cool. So it's quite a bit of stuff. That happens every Monday night at Ashley's. Also, if you're interested in having your own paranormal experience, you can go into Ashley's, and they're going to hook you up with Steve. And Steve will take you on an investigation of Ashley's after hours. And that's really cool.
Very cool.
Also with us, we have someone else that's really super cool. We have Elizabeth Rockhill.
Rockhill. Woo!
Elizabeth is an attorney and a communication and conflict resolution specialist. She's also a course director at one of the local universities, an advocate for alternative dispute resolution. As Chuck said, we don't know what that means. So.
We have no idea what that means.
And a world-famous author. Previously, Elizabeth had worked for the city of Palm Bay as a deputy city attorney and was a law clerk for Brevard County. And Elizabeth is currently, from what I hear, the rumor, writing a book that may involve the paranormal.
Cool.
Sweet.
We want to be in it.
Yeah. Can we
Chuck
be
wants
in?
to be in it.
Of course you're going to be in it.
Yes.
I want to be the villain.
Okay.
Okay. Because
I just want to be something spooky.
You are spooky.
Can I do the audio?
You are
though?
spooky. Yeah, that would be
That'd be
awesome,
kinda neat.
right?
No, it's going to be from a woman's perspective.
So both.
And a man. It's like we're both.
Oh, we do both. You and I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That's spooky.
that is spooky.
It's spooky. Both Steve and Elizabeth are members of our crew. Steve, of course, is our official paranormal investigator, And Elizabeth is our director of research. And you know what? Actually, I was just thinking about this. This just hit me now. Since you handle conflict resolution, that might come in handy on some of our investigations in case we have any angry spirits.
Yeah.
Yes, I can mediate with the ghosts.
Yes, she can mediate. Wouldn't that be great?
Have you ever done that?
I don't think so, but not yet.
You know,
I'm always ready to.
We can't talk about that. We need a. That's our little secret.
Well, you know why?
That's a
Because
great
I get
idea.
them all riled up, and I say a lot of dumb things and wake all these spirits up, and Elizabeth can talk them down.
Right? I see a whole new.
Interesting.
Okay.
Revenue stream.
Write that down, and we can't say anything further on that.
Darn it, we let it go on the air again.
I know, right?
All right.
Also, Chuck and I were the producers. We're also the hosts of this. And not able to join us today are investigators Miss Tina Grodens and Sean Wooden, along with our super talented cameraman and video editor, Clinton Landris of Negative Normal Productions. Genius.
Genius.
So thank you guys for taking off more time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Always a
Coming in
pleasure.
here.
I appreciate y'all coming in today. Steve, let's start with you. I'm going to dig into some of your background. You were on Radio Takeover about a year ago. I believe you were the first guest on Radio Takeover from what Karen told me. It's before my time.
It was an honor.
Welcome back.
Woo!
But almost exactly a year ago.
This is kind of it's fitting for today.
Yeah.
Let's start with you. Steve, what made you decide to get into the paranormal field? Did you have childhood experiences or something that made you want to find answers?
Well, I've always been in tune with energy, you know, and, you know, years ago I was a skeptic, didn't believe in the paranormal, and I wanted to see if there was something to the supernatural. So I invested in a few pieces of equipment and did my first investigation at Ashley's. It was from 10 o'clock at night till 3:30 in the morning.
Were you alone?
Yes.
Oh. Dude.
Spooky.
Skeptical.
Brave.
Still skeptical.
Yeah.
And I was running a spirit box session inside the ladies' room. And I asked...
That sounds really dirty right now, but we'll get
it
into
does.
that, what a spirit box
Yes,
is in
yes.
the ladies' room as a whole. It makes sense.
And, you know, it's a communication device. And I asked, what room am I in right now? And a woman came through crystal clear and said, in a bathroom.
So did that freak you out? Did you
Oh.
freak out? Because I would have ran
Yeah.
out the door.
That's exactly what I did. I
Communication over.
ran out of the ladies' room, but I was also hooked at the same time.
Yeah.
wow.
You want to know more?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's further questions. Interesting.
So was that your first interaction with a spirit or with energy? Your first?
Yes, that was
Experience?
my first hardcore piece of, you know, interaction. And it terrified me, but it also intrigued me that much more.
So you decided, how long ago was that?
Well, I've been doing it for about a little over 9 years. So,
Wow.
you know, I got bit by the paranormal bug.
I'm sure you did. So do you still get nervous after seeing all you've seen and being able to explain? Well, I guess you can't really explain it, but you still
Well-
get nervous in some of these investigations?
You know, your eyes and your mind does play tricks on you. Some locations are creepier than others, but it's more of an adrenaline rush now than scary.
Do you still do them alone, or you bring other people? with you?
I like to, you know, have people tag along with me every once in a while, just to give someone a unique experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty much solo.
Wow. Well, I couldn't imagine doing that by myself, Karen. I'm pretty brave, but dude,
No.
in that
No.
bathroom with that box talking to you, and you don't know there's nobody else in the whole
Right.
place. That's
Right?
kooky.
No. I would pass on that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us about share some of your experiences?
Well, I've captured a lot of thermal footage, thermal spirit from a thermal camera with spirits manifesting. On the thermal camera, you see things in temperature, and it has a temperature gauge, and wherever the crosshairs are, it's telling you what the temperature is. And if this temperature set for the room is 74 degrees, and it plummets down to 55 degrees, and you're not
Like instantaneously?
well, yeah, if you're not in front of an AC vent or there's
Well,
no
even 20 degrees drop in front of AC is not possible.
and the environment changes and something manifests where you can make out clothing
Dude.
and then it disappears. I mean, that's
Yeah,
pretty
that-
impressive.
Yeah.
Is-
How long does that last when the temperature drops? Is it quick or?
It's usually it could last maybe 3 or 4 seconds.
Wow. So it's usually quick.
Yeah, and if something manifests, you might, if you're at Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, you might capture a soldier manifesting where you'll see the buttons on the uniform
Wow.
or the rifle.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And you capture these on your thermal camera, you call it?
Yeah.
Or you capture pictures or videos, or what is it?
It's pictures and video.
Yeah.
And you're seeing it as it's happening.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So the temperature's dropping. You're not hearing anything. It's probably silent, although you have this spirit box, which...
Yeah, there's no footsteps on the thermal
no
camera.
chains, no footsteps like they do in the movies.
Thank
Yeah.
God for no chains.
No.
Yeah.
None of that.
What's
Yeah.
it? I was thinking of Scrooge. Bob Marley? No, that's the reggae guy. Is it
Yeah.
Bob Marley? Well,
Yeah,
anyway.
I know what you're talking about. The
Yeah.
spirit of the night, or whatever. All those crazy movies that go into that stuff. So it's not like that. Huh? It's more silent, more subtle.
It's more silent and subtle. And of course, using full spectrum cameras, you're watching on video, which it sees an infrared and ultraviolet lighting, which is a level of light that we don't see.
Yeah. Yeah. So you review the footage later, and you see things that we wouldn't have seen.
And I try to debunk, the evidence to
Yeah.
see if it's a natural explanation for what's happening. And if you can't debunk it, then you're left with
Something real.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something real,
something
yeah.
unexplainable.
So what do you say to non-believers like Chuck?
Well, I tell people that I was once a skeptic also, and I was a skeptic out of lack of knowledge and fear.
Yeah.
And I was curious enough to venture into the paranormal to see what it was about. And I think sooner or later we all will have an experience that we can't explain. And it's just a matter of if, it's just a matter of when.
Yeah. Can you tell us about some of the places you've investigated? We're actually looking for more places here in Brevard County. Are you allowed to share that information?
I've done a lot of residential places in Cocoa, Melbourne, a lot of restaurants, hardware stores, small businesses. I find that the places that have the most activity have been built or situated on or near quartz.
Really?
Really?
Which quartz has metaphysical properties, and quartz holds energy.
Oh, you mean quartz? I thought you
Quartz
said
crystals.
quartz, right? Crystals. Yeah, I thought he was talking about like law quartz.
Right.
If you hold a thermal,
Elizabeth peeked up. She's what?
What?
if you
Never
hold,
walk into a courtroom again.
I hate
Quartz.
so quartz, if you hold a thermal camera up to a cluster of quartz crystals, the crystals will look like they're on fire where the
Whoa.
peaks are. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty
I
cool,
can
isn't
have to.
it?
Well, I don't end up in court, so
Yeah.
if I ever do, I'm gonna have to.
That's my
Pay
Jersey
attention.
accent.
Yeah,
Where
that's
quartz
cool.
sounds like
Jersey?
quartz.
Is that where you're from?
New Jersey, yeah.
Me too.
What exit?
But Bergen County.
Bergen? The north?
North Jersey.
North Jersey. Passaic? Out that way?
Near Hackensack.
Okay. I lived in Princeton for a little while. Where are you from in Jersey, Elizabeth?
Westwood.
Westwood. Where's
Westwood. I have no clue.
that? Okay.
I know
cool.
Westwood.
I was there for a year.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Do you know where it is? You
Bunch
know
of
more than I
Jersey
do.
people.
Yeah, you're
This is
outnumbered here,
Jersey
Colorado,
thing, eh?
Chicago,
This is
wherever
Jersey
you're from.
thing.
Yeah.
I'm from the planet Earth, man.
Hey, yo, forget about it.
Yeah.
See, you got it.
That was pretty good.
That was really good. Steve, what would you call your scariest experience in all your investigations over these past 9 years? Something that really spooked you.
The one thing that really spooked me, I did an investigation. It was from 10 o'clock at night till 6 in the morning at an apartment building in Titusville. And there's 2 one-bedrooms and 2 two-bedrooms. And the building was built in the early 1900s. And one of the 2 bedrooms upstairs, a tenant had committed suicide in one of the rooms.
Ooh.
I got permission from the landlord to spend the night there.
Yikes. Lockdown.
Right.
Guy's got a set on him, doesn't he?
Yeah, right?
Lord.
And he says, you'll have running water, but you won't have any power. And at that time, when I was doing the investigation, it was, in the summer times, it was 91 degrees all night
Oh,
long.
man. No.
So with my thermal camera, everything on the screen was one color because there was no hot spots or cold spots. And I entered one of the bedrooms, and it dropped down to 70.3 degrees from 91 degrees.
Wow.
And I caught a
20
partial manifestation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you stay after that happened?
Yeah.
Yeah? You're like, cool, bring it on. Let me see some more, man. What do you got?
Well, that creeped me out because other than that little headlamp, you didn't have the
No
luxury of
power,
turning
no
it.
lights.
Nothing.
And you stayed.
I couldn't get nobody to chill with me.
Wow.
I told them I had food, drinks,
So right after that happened, right after that temperature drop and that manifestation, what'd you do?
Well, it knocked me down to one knee because
Wow.
what I felt like in that room, it was kind of like sticking a 9-volt battery on your tongue and being in a walk-in freezer at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you say typically the temperature drops only last a couple of seconds. Did it go back up to 90 after
Yeah.
shortly, really shortly? And
Yeah, because all night long I was wiping my forehead, drinking water, Gatorade, so I didn't become one of the spirits that I hunt.
Right.
Good
I like
point,
that.
man.
A little humor there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if you had wine, Chuck and I would have showed up, but I'm
I know,
thinking
right?
more Chuck can show up, especially after you said the battery thing
Yeah,
on
90
your tongue
degrees,
and
yeah,
the
I
heat.
don't know,
No,
man.
I'm
I don't
past.
know.
Thank you very much.
So did this happen early in that night? In your
I'd say
investigation?
within the first 2 to 3 hours.
Anything after that night?
Well, I was using a laser grid scope, and it puts up hundreds of little green stars, and it's used for shadow detection. And, I'm sitting in the middle of the living room and asking questions.
In the dark?
Yeah.
With this little green laser thing popping around. Okay.
Yeah,
You're asking
and
questions.
asking questions, and throughout, the questions, you can see the stars. Excuse me. You can see
They're
the stars
moving?
moving around. Yeah.
Dude!
Yeah.
And there's nothing else in there.
No, just me.
This is like a hive, not a little rat running around the floor or something. This kind of
No.
mid-range,
That's
couple
crazy.
feet in the
You're the head
air.
of a person.
Dude.
Wow.
And you're still staying there.
Well, yeah, my mind's racing.
You could
a
have
little
left,
bit.
right?
Yeah.
You weren't locked in. There's no padlock on the outside of the door.
I locked in, but I gave the landlord a nice deposit, so I wanted to stick it out.
Dude.
Wow. You're brave.
And you stay awake all night? You fall asleep at all? Or
Didn't fall asleep. I had soda, I had Gatorade,
And you're by yourself.
Yeah, no one would chill with me.
Dude.
Wow.
I had food. I'm like, man, just chill.
He's in this strange apartment somewhere in, Titusville? And
Yeah.
he's seeing stuff within a couple of minutes. Temperature drops, and he sticks it out.
And he sticks
You
it
are
out.
a man.
Right?
Good Lord. You should have a goatee.
I actually had a goatee at one time.
Yeah. You look mean.
Right?
That's why I
And some
shaved it.
tattoos?
No tattoos.
No, we're going to get you some
We
tattoos.
can get some temporary ones, put them on for the next
Yeah,
one.
right. We'll do some henna.
So, we have just about 30 seconds left. So
15 seconds.
Okay, 15 seconds.
Let's take a quick break and come back
Yeah.
with us. We're still going to talk to Elizabeth Rockhill about some of her experiences in her research. Steve's going to stick around with us, if you will. Will you stick around?
Absolutely.
This is Radio Takeover with Chuck Fresh and Karen Wooden talking about spooky stuff. Stick around. We'll be back right after these messages.
In a world, the little black book, the truth about women. It's already been called the best dating book ever. The first and only book to tell the truth about women, dating, first names, and sex. This is the book banned in over 40 countries. Some powerful and successful men, and most women, do not want men to know these secrets. This is it. For the first time ever, it is the holy grail of women, their secrets, and how to be successful in life and relationships. Sections of the Little Black Book classify personality traits based on the type of car a woman drives, her hairstyle, her profession, and even what type of eyeglasses she chose. Author Miso N. Gray cites these are seemingly insignificant traits that can give you a tremendous insight into a woman's personality. Women are much more cerebral than men, so they calculate their choices more carefully, and those choices leave breadcrumbs. What's perhaps the most interesting and striking part of this book is the entire chapter dedicated to a woman's first name and what her name says about her. For example, Gray states the name Kim tells us that a woman may be bubbly, laid back, and virtually carefree, and rather loose. A woman named Andrea with dark hair is downright mean, but an Andrea with light hair is much more pleasant. A woman named Christine is dizzy and stuck up, and generally 2 beers short of a six-pack. Conversely, Michelle is exceptionally generous. If you need a hug, time, food, shelter, money, sex, or whatever, Michelle rarely fails. And if you're lucky enough to find a Lois, you'd better keep her forever. Gray has interpreted more than 100 popular male and female names in his quantitative analysis and disclaims. These descriptions in no way apply to the entire population, but the stereotypes are uncannily accurate. But that's not all Gray has uncovered in the Little Black Book. Learn why feminists are a lost cause. Learn why white women date black men. Learn why a U.S. veteran traveled to Asia for a mail-order bride. Find out exactly what you want in a relationship and learn exactly what you can do to become a Casanova and achieve success in the dating world. Little Black Book, The Secrets of Women by Miso and Gray. Now available for a limited time on Amazon, Kindle, and Audible.
And welcome back, everybody, to Radio Takeover. Karen Wooden, along with Chuck Fresh, Elizabeth Rockhill. I almost said something else. I'm so stuck on that.
We're making up names for
We're
people.
making up names, right? And Steve Kurtzky.
Yes.
And we are talking all things paranormal.
Paranoid.
Paranoid.
That's where I am right now, Karen.
You're getting there, right?
I'm about to have a sip of holy water. Oof, Lord.
I hear that. So let's talk this half. We need to get to Elizabeth.
She's got some great stories.
She's got some great stories here. That's right. Let's talk about why we're doing this.
Yes. Why are we doing this, Karen?
Well, it first started off as it was going to be a prank because you're a jokester.
Yeah.
So I was going to grab some people and play a joke on you. And I was going to take you to a non-haunted location and tell you it was haunted. And then we were going to put special effects in and make all sorts of things happen.
Bad.
Bad things. And no, we're just going to make all sorts of things happen because some of us thought it would be really hilarious to see your reactions
Right
to
on.
that.
I love
and
that
then,
stuff.
Things that just didn't transpire because the friends that were in on this, Robert Scott, Ryan Harper, moved to Georgia. And then from there, why not actually really do it?
And that's what happened.
And that's what happened. So
Listen,
here we
if
are.
I can mention something before we
Yes.
get any further in this channel, this paranormal channel, we're going to shoot a bunch of videos. Probably going to do 13. We're going to do 5 to start. And it's going to get a lot of attention on Facebook, on YouTube, all over the internet. I see it going viral.
Yes.
And producing these shows is surprisingly expensive. So we are in need of some sponsors. But let me tell you why. What you'll get is charter bottom line prices, just enough to cover our costs. We're not making any money off of this thing. We're doing it for completely free out of love. You know what I mean?
Oh.
We've got to pay some of the people who help us out. But
We do.
once you're in this video, you will be there for eternity. Because once you put a video on YouTube and Facebook, just the way it works, you can't pull it down or you lose all your views, likes, and comments.
That's right.
You can't change the video. So if you're a sponsor in this video on Facebook or YouTube, you will be there forever. You will outlive us for all eternity. Longer than Ghost will be. It's actually a heck of a deal. So if you're a car dealership, a bar, a restaurant, nonprofit, small business, anybody who needs a little bump in their business, we can almost guarantee this is going to generate some serious views. So call Karen Wooden ASAP. Leave her a message at 321-373-7400, right? Or email info@brevardradio.com right now before we hit the edit suite. And it's going to happen soon, so you need to do this now. Once it's produced, you've missed your opportunity. It's 373-7400, area code 321, or email info@brevardradio.com right now.
And one of the things that the reason that we chose Ashley's. We've been talking about that today, and I got introduced to Ashley's because I met Steve a year ago, just a little over a year ago.
Yeah.
So we thought Ashley's would be the perfect place because it has a lot of interesting history.
And boy, was it.
And boy, was it. But before we ask Elizabeth, she is our researcher. What made you decide to join our crew? Because that's nuts.
Because you guys are that awesome.
So you wouldn't do this with just anyone?
I probably would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to ask that question.
We're a little more awesome,
to
though.
go there.
It's okay.
Have you ever had any paranormal experiences until now?
Yeah. Shh.
This
Those
one-
secrets.
This one was the best one by far, but I'm really jumpy, as you guys now very well know.
Yes.
But I've always been a believer in paranormal. So there's tons of times I remember going to the beach. I went to Puerto Rico several times, and I remember looking for a Cuba Libre, but actually was a chupacabra.
There's a difference?
There's
Cuba
A
Libre
Cuba
is a rum
Libre,
and
isn't
Coke.
that a rum and Coke
Yeah.
with a lime?
I thought it was a restaurant in Philadelphia. I don't
We
know.
need
I was
that
trying
pal,
to-
Chuck.
Yeah.
I was trying to convince my friends to run down. I was like, come with me, let's look for a Cuba Libre. I mean, chupacabra.
We should hang out with her.
We need to.
That'd be
We
great.
don't hang out enough.
But no, there's, growing up in Brevard's a very strange place. And I think there's a reason the Space Coast is here. And all, so I think I've seen lots of weird things. There's nothing that sticks out, but it's just, I mean, why do people always say, if you look at the map of the United States and how they describe Florida, it's just that weird state?
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's even stranger things happen in Brevard County.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
We can't reveal too much on the air today. You'll see this soon, but my goodness. You mentioned you're working on a book on the paranormal. What can you tell us about that, Elizabeth Rockhill at Amazon.com?
It's not out yet. It's actually I'm almost done editing it. Then I got to send it off to my second editor. The book is it takes place in Brevard County, and each city has a story. And originally, the county and the cities were going to be named something different. So instead of Melbourne, it was going to be Auckland. And I think it was you who were like, "Why? Just name it what they are."
Melbourne,
and each one is it's normal. It's not young adult by any means. It's definitely got adult content in there.
Sweet. Movie.
That means sex.
Yeah.
Sex,
And violence.
drugs, alcohol, all the good stuff that makes it fun to read.
Micro penis? Just wondering.
Always wanted to say
throw
that.
that out there. Yeah, I never said that on the radio before. Did I just get beeped? Okay, go ahead.
Nobody's paying
I'm
attention.
trying to
We're
be good today. So it just takes. There's the first one actually. The character Anna, she's in her last semester of high school, and she's went through a lot. Her brother died when she was very young, and her best friend died, and so she was kind of self-destructive.
Yeah, tough.
And she's a painter, and likes to hang out with older people, partake in different
Adult situations.
Yeah.
adult situations.
Thank you, Karen.
And she's in a debate class, and she meets a new student who comes down from New York, and his name is Chance. And he's very yuppie, model type, nothing that she's not used to, and she's barely got her hair done. So they get into a fight over talking about a book, and so the teacher's like, well, you know what, I'm going to have you guys volunteer together because you have to learn how to get along with different people. And as they volunteer together at a community center, they start to realize, like, different weird things happening. And so you find out that he's got certain abilities to influence people, and she's more of an empath. And they actually take a trip to Casadega, and then they start to, from there, like, more and more things start happening. And but you find out later on that there's ghosts that kind of been following Anna around.
Oh, boy.
Check size are huge.
Yeah, that's cool. What a story.
Right.
And it all happens right here in Brevard County.
Yeah, the first one takes place in Melbourne and Indialantic, and then the next one is the one that takes place in Palm Bay, and it's Chili. The characters are Chili.
I like the names.
Yeah, Penelope, and then the gentleman's name was Rex, but I changed it because I just changed it.
You can do that when you're not.
that.
Yeah, power.
It is what it
His
is.
name's Rex. That's the coolest thing about writing is that,
You're
it's
God.
like, if you have a bad day or if anyone makes you mad, it's like, that's fine. I'm going to make you a character in my book.
Yeah.
Channel it.
Yeah, exactly.
Taylor Swift does it all the time.
I know,
Well,
right?
the next one is the one about Palm Bay, and it allegedly has that all the politicians are zombies.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
Right.
I like it. That's
So-
not far from the truth.
Not right, right. So why don't you, getting back to the channel that we're doing, why don't you give us a little bit, if you could, some of the brief history, what you found out about Ashley's.
Yeah, there's a lot of amazing information, and I know we're going to introduce it more later. So to summarize it, Ashley's was built in the 1920s. It's in Rockledge for anyone who doesn't know that. There's 4 basic theories about what has made it haunted.
Mm-hmm.
The first is that it is a Native American burial ground.
Ooh, spooky.
That there was a boy killed on the railroad tracks behind it. The third one is that there was a girl killed in an accident out front. And then the fourth one has the most history to support it, factual basis, that a woman named Miss Ethel Allen was murdered. And she was murdered in 1934. The body was recovered near O'Galley, which was spooky to me because I live just a little bit south of O'Galley and over on the beach side. And her body was horribly mutilated. It was partially burned, and then was found with the initials BK tattooed on her leg.
Now, did she have a rose on her too?
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that some places yes and some places
Okay.
no. So that can't be confirmed. But the initials BK were definitely everyone I've seen has had that. Every source I found has confirmed the BK. The rose I've seen in a lot of them, but not all of them.
Yeah.
Have you heard that Ethel Allen may have been a prostitute?
I've heard that was mentioned, or that one place I think described her as a very free-spirited teenager. She was 19 when she was murdered.
Yeah. Like a wild child.
Yeah, like a free-spirited wild child, which is like, I don't know, most 19-year-olds I know.
So you think BK may have been the initials of her pimp or Burger King?
You know,
She's
Burger
going to get
King.
really mad at me right now. I
Because-
take it all back. I'm sorry.
Burger
Sorry, I
King
was
because
kidding.
somebody
You know, I
couldn't
know
have
that
it their
one.
way.
But if it was Burger King, then she would have had to been psychic.
Yeah,
Because
she
Burger
may
King
have been.
wasn't around yet.
Yeah, 34. Wow. And
So-
what else you got?
And so, actually, Ashley's was originally Jack's Tavern that was opened in 1933 by Jack Allen. So, and I haven't
Allen.
seen anything that connects them. So it's a coincidence that it's Jack Allen and Ethel Allen. A few people have said they're
Oh, that's
related,
interesting.
but nothing has been confirmed.
Now, we also found out some information, too, that those initials could possibly fit the person that she was last seen with.
There is a possibility, but it's not. That hasn't been confirmed.
And that was a William, wasn't it?
It could be a Bill.
William,
Bill.
that they called him Billy. I
Yes.
think.
But his last name to give a W too, isn't it Wilson or
Wilson.
Wilson.
Wilson, yeah.
So, I've tried to think of all the things that could
Yeah.
be BK. And,
Yeah, I can't get it. Yeah.
and I
British
don't know.
nine tennis shoes.
Yeah, it could be, and I don't know if you would get tattooed. Someone's going to
Yeah, the night you get killed, right?
So I don't know. So it could be completely unrelated. It was just
Yeah.
one of the markings.
Little quinky dink.
I heard, too, that women, because it was unusual for women to have tattoos or markings, that could also mean that they were part of a circus.
That I've seen that theory too. There's so many different possibilities. If you go on and search her name, Ethel Allen, and Rockledge, because if you just do Ethel Allen, you'll find a few others.
Yeah.
There's actually a politician back then too. But there's many different theories, and a lot of them, though, are hard to actually find factual facts to prove the facts.
Right.
But they're fun stories.
Yeah, not great records back in those days, especially
Yeah.
here when Brevard there was what, a couple hundred people living
Yeah,
here.
but she had several siblings, so she wasn't. Which kind of hurts the theory that she was from the circus
Yeah,
because it was.
true.
She has a family that was had roots here.
Does she have any descendants here that we're aware of at this
Yes.
point?
Steve actually told me the story about that.
Yes, I actually spoke to one of her still surviving descendants,
Wow.
and everybody on Ethel Allen's side, their
Mm-hmm.
name starts with an E.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And there was at the cemetery, she's buried at Crooked Mile, which is also known as
Georgiana.
Georgiana. And Steve pointed out that when we were at her gravesite, there was a smaller stone with the initials EA on it too, but we're not sure what that's about.
Was that EA or EK? No, it was EA. EA.
EA, yeah.
Interesting.
So what are some of the things that are set to go on at Ashley's? Just briefly, whoever wants to answer that.
I think Steve would be better at that.
Well,
His stories are amazing.
yes,
They are great.
The spirit of Ethel Allen makes her presence known. Oftentimes, people feel, a tugging on the back of their shirt. I've experienced smelling of perfume after everybody's been long gone. The spirit of the little 7-year-old girl frequents the upstairs, and I've captured phenomenal evidence of her. And she's very playful, very shy. And then some of the audio footage that I captured as well, just confirming, I'm still here, or
Wow.
or unfinished business, it's amazing.
That restaurant, I have to say, because I haven't really ever been there, which is funny because I've been here for 30 years.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most amazing, it was just a fun place to be.
Right.
It's neat, isn't it?
It was a
It
really
The
cool
decor
restaurant.
and the way that the steps are really narrow and that little upstairs that overlooks the bar. It's a neat place.
Well,
It's a
and
very
it's
cool
had
place.
several different owners. It's had several different name changes.
Yeah.
From Jack's. I'm trying to think of them all, which I don't have in front of me. Do you have those? Elizabeth?
Not in front of
It was
me.
Jack's Tavern, Lou's Caboose,
That's right.
the Mad Duchess,
Wow.
the Sparrow Hawk, I believe,
Yes.
and Gentleman Jim's,
That's right.
and then Ashley's in '85.
So
Interesting.
It's undergone. And we have some really good footage. I think some footage that's going to blow a lot of people away.
Involving Elizabeth.
Involving Elizabeth and our cameraman. And I don't know if our cameraman is listening, and we're not going to tell him until everything is
He
a
doesn't
wrap.
know.
But he might not come back and film. So
I knew it was going to be crazy before we even did it, when we just met there to talk about everything, and I went into the restroom and I jumped half a mile from when the dryer came on.
right. Yes, we had some interaction with some spirits, and then we had some interaction with some jokers, some pranksters. Chuck?
Well,
Fresh.
prankster spirits.
Okay. We'll go with that.
Maybe it was
We'll
the
go with
spirits
that.
we were drinking. I don't know.
Maybe you're possessed.
So, Elizabeth, Steve had his spirit box there. Steve, tell us what a spirit box is. How does that work?
Basically, what it does is a communication device that creates white noise, and it scans through frequencies very, very fast, creating energy.
Yeah.
I liken it to like when you were younger, when you used to scuff your feet on a wool carpet, and you build up a static charge, and then you pop your little brother in the back of the neck with that little spark.
I like that.
I still do it.
And you can ask questions, and anything like a CB radio or a baby monitor comes through as interference. But then you ask, what is the name of the person that's sitting next to me right now?
And what happened when you asked that question
Oh,
at
my
Ashley's
goodness.
the other night, Steve?
Well,
You were sitting there at a table, right, with some of your equipment on the table. Elizabeth's sitting right next to you.
and Elizabeth asks a question,
Yeah.
and she said, "What is my name?" And it's sweeping, it's sweeping, it's sweeping, and
This is freaky.
and a
It
woman's
is.
voice comes through crystal clear and says, "Elizabeth."
Yeah.
I jumped.
It's
Yeah.
on tape. We have it verified. I witnessed it.
Right.
We all saw it. And we were like,
squeaked.
whoa.
Right?
Yeah, that's not a talk show or a baby
No.
monitor.
No.
There's no way
Yeah.
I think you could have. I mean, you probably could fake anything, but I doubt that seemed legit.
That seems. And I have to ask you, Steve,
Yes.
in all of your experiences, we caught Chuck Fresh on camera at Ashley's drinking holy water. Okay? He was doing a couple shots
I was
of
a
holy
little
water.
nervous.
He was.
It helped.
So, do you think that might be what's protecting him?
It can hurt.
To drink holy water?
Lubrication. There wasn't really water in there, Karen.
Anejo. Holy
I
anejo.
know.
It was holy anejo.
It was holy, whatever it was. When I was done with it, I'm like, oh, God.
It can hurt, that's for sure. But I always bring my protection prayers,
Yes.
before and after each investigation. And
This is a good idea.
and
Yeah.
I'm respectful. I
Yeah,
don't
you
provoke. I'm too old to fight anyway, so I.
Steve yells at me whenever
I
I
was
go
gonna
a
say-
little off. He's like, you don't want to do that. You
I
don't want
say,
to do that. And I'm like, God.
Are you listening?
I'm like,
Are you
okay.
listening, Chuck?
And I kind of back off. I'm like, he apparently knows more than I do. Maybe I better back off here.
Yeah.
But I try to offer my energy, as much of my energy as they want, to try to communicate with these spirits, beings, energy, whatever it is. So I offer myself completely.
We appreciate your sacrifice
Yeah.
for the cause.
It was a beautiful thing.
It was neat. And we did
That was
see
so much fun.
And Elizabeth was sitting there, and she had dowsing rods.
Yes.
And how do they work, Steve?
Well, the dowsing rods were originally used to find water underground. Construction crews to this day will still use them, before they dig.
Freaky.
But with ghost hunting, spirits can use your own energy, and you ask questions like, Jason, are you here right now? Take the right rod and move it all the way over. And as long as your hands are completely still, with me, my arms start to heat up when something starts to happen. And I've actually had people with a thermal camera shine it on my arms, and they'll start turning from yellowish to red to bright white as it's happening.
Whoa.
And you cannot manipulate those to move as smoothly as we saw
I
with
was
Miss
watching,
Elizabeth.
and Elizabeth sat there with two in
I
her
was
hand.
perfectly still.
She was
Like,
being very still.
But
and
they're jiggly.
And
You
we
know,
were-
you can't.
we were asking questions, or Elizabeth was asking
Yeah.
questions. She had a connection with whatever was there.
it was a male spirit,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure if it went home with us. So I was supposed to ask that. I didn't ask that, and I didn't really quite get its age. But the questions, like, we would ask them, and I can't remember what question I asked, and I said something like, spread the dowsing rods, and it like went all the way, and then it touched me, and I jumped and squealed because that's what I do.
It was hugging you with the dowsing rod. But there's no way humanly possible, in my opinion, if you agree. Okay, Chuck,
Yeah,
tell me
I
his
you
eyes.
know,
to make those rods move
Yeah.
that slowly,
there's
that
something
smoothly.
going on there, and there was some sort of connection there. I have to admit that.
Because I would think of it like I remember playing the Ouija board when I was
Yeah,
a kid with
yeah.
friends, and I'm like, I know
That's
one of
why
you.
they're communicating with Elizabeth.
Yeah, I did too.
Did you?
I mean, like I know one of my friends would be moving it, because I
Yeah.
could usually figure out which friend
Sure.
was moving it. It's easy
The
based on what
ideometer
knows.
effect.
Yeah.
Subconscious.
But this was like I was holding it perfectly still, and I didn't think I thought maybe they
You were
moved a
sitting there,
little bit.
and you looked like you were building up a sweat on you because you were holding them tight.
Yeah, they weren't moving. At
I
all.
saw white knuckles.
She was frozen.
Well,
She
after
was.
it started, like the communicating, it was freaking me out.
It would be freaking me out too. And that's why we're all happy that whatever was there chose you. Well, it chose a couple other people as well. We're not going to...
If I can give this away, this was really interesting. We'll just give this little tidbit away. Somehow, I don't remember how it happened. We found out it was the spirit's birthday.
Yes.
Do you remember how that went down?
Yes, I think Chuck. I think you were asking questions, and you said, "I am here. What do you want to say to me?"
I am here. It was like that.
And then it sounded like a small child or something.
It did.
It came through and said, "Happy birthday." And then we started singing "Happy Birthday," and then the rest is a secret.
I wonder whose idea was it to sing Happy Birthday?
It was mine. I just started doing
Jack.
it. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, the rest is a secret.
Yeah, there's incredible footage on that.
Something
that's-
happened. We
Yes.
all joined in. Did you all sing too?
We
I
all
don't
sang.
remember.
We all sang.
And
My
then
singing would scare most spirits away. My singing would make a train take a dirt road.
Yeah,
I'm
mine too.
worse.
And then something happened on
Something
camera
happened.
Right.
Yes,
during that birthday song.
yes, it did.
So that's what's spooky.
Yes.
There's a lot of spooky things. And I was also in the ladies' room by myself. Nobody else would go in there by themselves. I went in with my video camera. And I said, let me see if there's anything going on. Because people report seeing old boots underneath the stalls. And I just thought it was pretty cool being in a ladies' room. They don't usually let me in ladies' rooms.
That's the real reason you went in there.
That's pretty good. I'm like, ooh, this is cool. There's this machine on the wall. Never mind. But
Their stalls are really small. in
they
there.
are. There's one that doesn't even look like it's like a hidden stall. It's got
You
like a
have to tilt
crooked
your
door.
head.
Yeah, it's really like on an angle. It's really weird.
Yeah.
So I went in and I sat in the stalls for a while. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. I had just one little light on my camera. And I went outside. I'm like, this is silly. Nothing's going to happen. And I walk outside. I'm staring at the door for some reason. I was ready to leave. I don't know why I was doing that. And then something appeared on my camera. It was like a flash. Something like, wait a minute. There's no other lights in this thing whatsoever. And this thing went, and I kind of, it almost instinctually followed it.
Yeah.
And I went and reviewed the footage later, and it was mind-blowing.
Well-
So it was clear as day, and it was freaking me out. It was like right before I was ready to walk
It's
out of the room.
amazing.
Indisputable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you can, even if you're a skeptic, going to Ashley's, because even if I believe in stuff like that, I still have the other part of my brain that's like skeptical.
Right.
But you can't
Explain
can't
it.
be
Right.
skeptical there. It's you see too much
It's-
stuff. There's
it's-
just
right.
way.
It's too real.
And for us, that was that for what we're doing. That was baby steps. That was baby steps.
We haven't
into
even
it.
got started yet.
And let's see if somebody special out there is listening by the initials of TG.
Yes.
Yes. She is not aware that while she was there, Steve captured something in response to her as
Her
well.
sneeze.
Yes.
Sneeze.
Yes.
So, very interesting.
Anyway, we've captured probably more in 2 hours than a lot of ghost hunters have captured in their entire careers.
Well, we had some people here that were very helpful
Pointing at
and
me.
influential.
We have the team. This is the dream team.
Just right place
It
at the
is.
right time. Everything was right for that moment.
Karen put that together, so we can do
Well, it was all of us. It's a group effort.
You did
Everybody's.
it. You put this thing. This is all you.
It was an idea, and everybody has contributed. Elizabeth is phenomenal with
She
the
is
research that she does and the energy and the spirit that she brings to this. Steve, your knowledge and your enthusiasm, your passion
Yeah. It was
is
awesome.
amazing.
And your bravery.
And your bravery.
Kahunas.
Yeah. Serious.
Steel.
Yeah, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Unbelievable. Your new name is
I
Steve
can't wait
Steele.
to see where we go next.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we need some help. Actually, now that we're on the air, we need somebody, if they know anyone who is involved with the Cocoa Village Playhouse. I understand there's a
Yes.
few spirits there. Also, the Henniger Center in Melbourne. So we need, if you know anybody that works there or has anything to do with the management of it, we'd like to come in there and do an investigation. We're very respectful. We're very professional, obviously.
True. And also, as we mentioned earlier, we're going to be doing folklore and fact. So if you
Right.
have some areas, interesting facts about the area that you would like us to show, because basically what we're doing is we're showing and sharing our experiences with others. So in case you're tired of going to Disneyland
Yeah.
or someplace else and you want to take the road less traveled, can we use that today?
Road less traveled.
The road
Yeah, why
less
not?
traveled and learn some other unique tidbits. Yes, right.
Nice.
That's what this is all about.
Steve, is there any paranormal activity going on right here in the studio? You have a little device here. What's this thing called?
It's an EMF meter. It's called a mill meter. It basically tells the temperature and the EMF signals, and it also has a proximity sensor, which creates its own EMF field around the sensor. And it basically...
Is there anything with us now?
Is there anything in the studio, Steve?
No. It basically creates its own
Oh,
field.
wait a minute. What was that?
So
Did you bring your holy water, Chuck?
No.
mine's almost gone, so you're in trouble.
All right. Anyway, we'll talk more about that on our show. We got to wrap up here. Thank you, Steve
Yes.
Kurtzky,
Thank you for having me.
for all your work and all your knowledge and your bravery. Elizabeth Rockhill, for your research.
Thank you.
Can't wait to read your book
Thank you.
and do some further investigations. Karen
Yes.
Wooden, for putting this whole thing together. You're a genius yourself. Well done.
Thank you, everybody.
And thank you for listening. Holler at us, radiotakeover.rocks, and check us out on Facebook. We'll see y'all next Wednesday at 1. Nice job, guys. Well
Yeah,
done.
that was
You guys are
great.
smooth. You guys are good.
Cool
This
design.
is it.
And Steve's got this down pat because the first time you came on,
This
you were a
is-
little nervous.
Oh, yeah.
Man, you're passionate
This is
today.
it.
It's beautiful. We were all nervous that day.
This
It's
is
not
the
like you can
group,
watch
man.
the audience and picture them in their underwear because
Yeah.
what else can you do? So
Yeah,
you
right.
just jump right